You believe you have seen it all, but believe me, you haven't. Chrissy Lampkin, the person we all assumed we knew from television, passed away in court today, but nobody anticipated that it wasn't just an emotional breakdown. It was her entire world collapsing in real time. But that's not even the most bizarre part. In case you didn't know, Camron is the last person who everyone believed would be the key to her demise. And what he did was release classified information that will soon disprove what we believe to be true regarding Chrissy's secret recordings. You might assume this is simply another courtroom drama, but this is a game changer, with horrific documents that were never meant to be seen. This isn't just a scandal. It's the one that will leave you wondering about everything. Stay tuned, because you're about to witness a bombshell of epic proportions. What Camron is holding could ruin Chrissy's career, and nobody is prepared for what's coming next. It began like any other court day, with paparazzi flashing fans lining the streets were crowded with people hoping to see Chrissy Lampkin as she walked into the courthouse like she still controlled the story. Under that glamorous exterior, she was just a few seconds away from a complete public breakdown, and nobody, not even Chrissy herself, was prepared for the mayhem. That was going to blow up because she was sitting in the courtroom that day with a man she hadn't spoken to in years, Camron, and this wasn't the "I'm here to support my friends" kind of vibe. Rather, Cam was here for a reason. The court began too quietly, like the quiet before a full-blown reality TV storm. The judge came in, the lawyers nodded, and then, all of a sudden, a mysterious silver briefcase with the label Chrissy Files was slid across the prosecution's desk. You could sense that this was more than just a civil dispute. Something significant was about to be revealed, and when they plugged in that flash drive, the energy flipped. Screenshots of hundreds or perhaps thousands of group discussions with encrypted WhatsApps and deleted messages. With the exception of Chrissy's anxious acrylics tapping against the wood, the courtroom was quiet. However, the bombshell voice note caused everyone in the room to stop breathing for 10 seconds. Her voice was angry, caustic, and desperate That clip alone was enough to start a media frenzy. But then came the leaked security camera. Footage from a private Miami hotel suite showing Chrissy pacing in heels and screaming on the phone to someone named G. She was ranting about account manipulation and how Cam had used it. They're crazy. The entire courtroom gasped as the judge essentially ordered everyone to calm down. Chrissy tried to appear composed, but her cheeks turned pale and her jaw tightened, as if she were suppressing a scream. Because who was G? And how did Cam obtain this? Then she said, "It's Cam that got dirt, but if he talks, I'll burn the whole Dipset empire to the ground." What most people don't know about the footage you see is that Cam and Chrissy were practically family back before Love and Hip Hop, before the VH1 checks, before the matching Gucci on red carpets. However, rumors have it that things soured in 2018 following a huge falling out over a backdoor deal involving real estate money that mysteriously disappeared, and anonymous sources close to the courtroom said that Camron never received his portion and that he remained silent for years until now. Insiders claim that this was a personal matter rather than Cam seeking influence, as another leak disclosed that Chrissy transferred about $150,000 from a purported women's empowerment charity into a private Chrissy's sudden image glow-up stylists. And makeup teams created paparazzi moments using charity funds that were meant to help single mothers, but that business never even got off the ground. Now it's said that the IRS is watching every transaction. And let's not forget the NDA, a thick signed document, dated 2018 that described a private dispute between Chrissy, Jim, and Cam that involved physical threats, recording devices, and purported payments. But guess what? It was leaked, page by page, line by line, and Cam's team had it all, which they presented to the judge as if it were Chrissy's lawyer attempted to object to a steakhouse menu, downplaying it as unimportant history. But the judge wasn't buying it. He denied the motion, and that's when it happened. Chrissy leaned forward, whispered something to her lawyer, and then started crying. Not the kind of tears you see on TV, with her mascara smearing her eyes. That yell, "I'm losing everything." When the cameras panned in, you could hear her whisper as her lip quivered and she covered her face. He wasn't supposed to do this, but Cam was ice cold, didn't blink or flinch, and just sat there as if he was watching justice finally be served. While everyone was staring at Chrissy, they missed that the legal team had additional accusations, so they weren't finished yet. According to financial reports and an unknown whistleblower who was prepared to testify, Chrissy was utilizing show money to reroute profits to her private business relationships by manipulating production budgets on several seasons of Love and Hip Hop. She allegedly persuaded a young public relations assistant to sign a fictitious invoice claiming $22,000 in media placement fees that were actually used for her birthday yacht party in Turks and Caicos in order to finance opulent vacations under the pretense of business retreats. Prepared to speak on the record, Instagram blogs were going crazy, and Twitter was on fire. Conspiracy movies on TikTok appeared every 5 minutes. Some claimed Cam had planned this all along, while others thought Chrissy had pushed him too far with something behind the scenes. Regardless, it's obvious that the audience had quickly turned against her, and she always seemed dubious to me. "About time someone pulled her card," the comment read. "Even celebrities were chiming in," was posted by another. "And this is why I don't deal with reality stars who believe they're CEOs," a verified producer tweeted. It wasn't only Chrissy's reputation on the line, it was her freedom, because this was not just a messy love triangle scandal. No, it involved Rico energy, racketeering, financial fraud, tampering, and possibly even obstruction. People in the courtroom were chatting about how the federal agents were in the hallway, and Chrissy's lawyer appeared to be 5 years old in 5 minutes. The judge then called for a break. The kicker is that Cam wasn't the only one with receipts, as the courthouse emptied and Jim Jones wasn't even present. Rumor has it that he's been avoiding the whole thing, and to be honest, can you blame him? Chrissy didn't get up. She just sat there with her shoulders quivering and a tissue in one hand. Chrissy, who was barely able to remain composed, was escorted out when someone else entered through the back entrance. Mama Jones, the woman who never stops talking, was seen entering with what appeared to be a manila folder and a Bluetooth in her ear. If you know Mama Jones, you already know that she only appears when it's about to get more ugly. What's in that folder? What's her role in all of this? And why did Camron'S smirk when she entered the courtroom? Reporters were still outside going. Live bloggers were already making headlines about Chrissy's cancellation, but Mama Jones had just entered the quiet hallway, and the whole energy flipped. She didn't say a word, but there was drama in her stride and fire in her eyes, and she wasn't there to console Chrissy. It wasn't a coincidence that she carried that manila folder. She walked past security like she owned the building and went directly to the private witness room. She hesitated, and when the door closed behind her, the only sound anyone could hear was her voice resonating through the vents. "Tell them what you did, Chrissy, or I'll listen now." This place has a dark, twisted history that has never been healed. From the beginning of Love and Hip Hop, Chrissy and Mama Jones never had a quiet moment because they were at odds over everything: money, power, and Jim. However, we were unaware of the extent to which Chrissy allegedly went behind the scenes to silence Mama, as revealed in a leaked email that inexplicably appeared on a gossip blog minutes after Mama's arrival. Chrissy once offered a reality show producer $50,000 to cut all Mama Jones scenes from season 4 because Mama had threatened to reveal a deal. Chrissy made behind Jim's back, selling a private investor in Atlanta the partial rights to one of his unreleased music catalogs. According to insiders, the catalog wasn't even Chrissy's to touch, but now that everything is falling apart, years later, Mama Jones is done being silent and is said to have kept receipts in court. Things quickly picked up that Chrissy hadn't. The prosecution then dropped the second bombshell, a recently discovered voicemail from Chrissy to an unidentified woman, dated March 2020. Camron was back in his seat, but he was still locked in this witness room with Mama. He appeared too composed, as if he knew the storm was finally on her side of the street. Chrissy yells, "I told you to use the ghost account, not the F connection. Now they're tracing it," in a panic over a missing wire transfer. A direct connection to Lil Durk or the crew is not yet implied by this, but the fact that F was brought up in any financial discussion that is being investigated raises each and every warning sign. Potential prosecutors asked the court right away for time to subpoena banking records from 2 Atlanta-based shell companies that were allegedly connected to Chrissy's business team. Just when we thought this couldn't get any worse, the FBI entered the hallway, complete with suits and badges, and it wasn't just for show. An informant claiming to be a legal intern in the courtroom sent a text message that simply stated, "They found the offshore account's boom game over." The names they wanted to talk to Chrissy's legal team in private court were stopped once more since the tension in the room was so high. Authorities allegedly suspect Chrissy was channeling show money, charity donations, and brand partnerships into offshore accounts under 3 aliases. For years, people had been speculating about her sudden wealth increases, new cars, luxurious holidays, and million-dollar investments, all without any active income streams. Monroe, get this, Vera and Christina Jones. Santiago is registered in Panama under 3 names with the same birthday. When it was revealed, Camron didn't even bat an eye. Instead, he leaned back with his arms folded and grinned as if he had been waiting for this day since 2019. Meanwhile, Chrissy hadn't returned to the courtroom, and rumors began to circulate that she was having a full-blown breakdown in the back. But just then, the last person anyone had anticipated appeared. Jim Jones, who appeared exhausted, without any chains or gaudy drips, just a hoodie, sunglasses, and a look as though he hadn't slept in days. He didn't look at the cameras, didn't say hello to anyone, and went straight to Mama Jones, who hugged her and whispered something in her ear. Chrissy. She emerged a few seconds later, her lips quivering and mascara running, obviously attempting to keep herself together. She grabbed for Jim's hand, which he withdrew so loudly that everyone in the front rows could hear him mumble, "You lied to me for years, and now the feds know everything." Chrissy stopped the action, shattered her shoulders, her whole face fell apart, and Mama Jones turned away. Jim left, and the public devoured it like wildfire. Within minutes, videos of Jim turning Chrissy down in court began to appear on the internet. When Chrissy revealed Mama Jones's warning, everything came to pass. He snapped Instagram blogs because they were going crazy. A user wrote, "I've known Chrissy was shady. She played everyone but not Cam." Another remarked, "This is more serious than reality TV. It's a federal indictment, and they weren't mistaken because the court resumed with an anonymous statement as the last exhibit." The paper, which was obtained just hours earlier from a former VH1 executive producer, stated that Chrissy frequently paid editing teams to alter her appearance on TV by eliminating verbal exchanges, threats, and even reported physical altercations. In exchange, she gave them access to influential people and hookups with brands. In one terrifying line, it was stated that Chrissy weaponized reality television and every man around her to build an empire of lies. After a lengthy delay, the Saitya judge scheduled a formal investigative hearing for next Friday. Until then, Ms. Lampin must turn in her passport and desist from Chrissy broke down once more from any media coverage of this case. She turned to face her lawyer and then Mama Jones, who refused to even look at her. She tried to reach for Jim, but he had already left. That power couple brand shattered that reality TV royalty image, and she was about to leave in silence when a voice called out. From the corridor, Andy Smith. "Oh, you're quiet now, but you were very talkative when I was on the chopping block." Boom, another twist, another enemy, another chapter about to begin because it seems like Yon Dandy has receipts and that she has been waiting for years to expose Chrissy, according to rumors coming out of that courthouse. Now that the truth is unraveling, and she's prepared to share everything. In part 3, when Yandi enters the ring and more secrets are revealed, the feds tighten the noose. If this shook you as much as it shook us, don't even consider scrolling. Hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on those alerts because, believe me, you don't want to miss what comes next. Do you believe Chrissy is guilty, or is she just... More truths are coming, more secrets are spilling, and this story isn't done. Female in a more significant game, let's discuss due to the fact that this drama is far from completed.